Okay, good afternoon, Will. Thank you for joining me on the UC Today Out Loud show. I really wanted to get up to speed on your kind of latest products, but just before we do, Will, thank you for joining me. Would you like to give us a quick introduction in terms of what you do for StarLeaf?
Yes, thanks for having me, Rob. It's a pleasure to see you again. At StarLeaf, I'm one of the founders of StarLeaf, and my title is Chief Strategy Officer. So I actually work with all the different bits of StarLeaf, as well as our customers and our channel partners, to help guide the company as the market changes, as the market develops, to make sure we're moving in the right direction to make the best result for us and for our customers. Great
stuff. We're just a few days off ISE, probably the biggest AV and now collaboration show certainly in Europe. You've got a few things happening, and certainly on show next week. But before we jump into those, I just wanted to get your perception of the market right now, because as far as I can tell, there's a huge explosion of video collaboration products and just video generally in the communication space right now. Would you agree? What's your perception?
I would totally agree. And there's a phrase that people band around, and it's not a new phrase, Rob. We've been saying it for 20 years, which is video the new voice? And, literally over 20 years ago, we were saying that video is the new voice. And, the fact that video was going to overtake voice was absolutely a premise that we started the company on. We always thought voice and video should be one thing. But finally, the usage and the user patterns and the way it's getting used, particularly in business, is starting to reflect that. I think it's been like that in the consumer space for quite a while. I mean, with FaceTime and WhatsApp, people have, especially the younger people, video is all they use these days. But now I think we're seeing it moving into the business space. And as you say, there's just an explosion happening in the collaboration space and work.
Certainly, and I'm sure we're going to see lots more at ISE next week in terms of new innovations and even new vendors in the video marketplace. But certainly StarLeaf are really well positioned, given your wealth of experience and heritage in the video conferencing space. In terms of the workplace challenges and the kind of reasons the video is really exploding right now, what would you say are the kind of key reasons?
Well, I think, as I said, one of them is people are just much more familiar with it. Every smartphone now is a video phone. It's no longer a thing of what the future is going to look like. The big video phones. No, we all have one in our pockets. And so I think that is one thing that's changed, is that perception of, is it unusual? No, we've all got it in our pockets, and younger people, they're all using it. But in the business place, that's also changing. Every laptop now has a camera, and our network connections, not just in the office, but when you're on the train, the internet is good enough that you can do video wherever you are. And then the tools have become easy to use. That's critical. It used to be, people used to just give up on video. The old clunky remote controls with the on-screen menus, no one could figure out how to do it. Nowadays, you click a link in your invite, or you click a button on the touchscreen, and you're in the meeting. So I think all of those contribute to make it a great experience. I suppose that's the last thing. Once you actually get in, it is actually a good experience. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at you now, and I can see exactly how long it is since you last shaved. How your beard isn't just grey. Like, I can see every whisker.
Yeah, it's never good. Try not to look at me too closely on the camera. I hope this isn't 4K. One of the worst innovations recently, I think, is 4K video. It just makes me look awful on camera. So.
Oh dear. I think we're all suffering from that. Maybe that's the downside. Maybe that's going to stop it, Rob. As we get older, we're going to be banning video. Oh no video for us.
There must be some feature, kind of like virtual makeup, coming through where they could just overlay some softer, take out the blemishes, that kind of thing.
I know. But in reality, that actually kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? Because what you're actually trying to do is actually interact better with the person. So the filters kind of takes that all away. If someone, you want to be able to see their expressions. So as fun as it is for Instagram, it's probably not productive to do it in business.
Absolutely. I mean, we're all getting much more comfortable with video now, aren't we? I mean, we're on a video call. As an interview, it's not usual to do an interview over video like this. So it's good. Certainly everyone seems to be getting more comfortable with video. So in terms of the marketplace and how that's going to play out over the next kind of 2 to 3 years, do you think that's going to dramatically change? Is it just going to be more of the same, more adoption? Or do you think there's going to be more innovation in the marketplace over the next 3 years?
Well, there is going to be more innovation. And there's one thing I'm sure about, especially if you look further ahead. There's one thing I'm sure about the future, which is whatever I predict is almost certainly going to be wrong. So, I think there is going to be innovation. I think some of it we can foresee, but I don't think, it always surprises us what actually ends up happening. But so I do predict more video. I predict it to get easier. I predict it to get better. But in exactly what ways, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But certainly the growth will just continue.
I think so too. I completely agree. It's going to become obviously more immersive. Connectivity is going to get better as well, isn't it? So with the advent of 5G and VR and AR and things like that, I suppose that our meetings, our calling is just going to get better. So exciting times ahead. And another year goes by since I was last at ISE, and you've delivered this year what looks like a trio of new products. Do you want to tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, I do. But rather than just jumping in right to the new stuff, Rob, let me just give you a little review of what hasn't changed and what stayed the same. And that is StarLeaf is continuing to position ourselves as a video solution for the enterprises. And what does that mean? That means we're focusing on really 3 key things, which is security, because we've now got ISO 27001 certification. We're the only cloud vendor, other than the big 2, the big giants, Cisco and Microsoft, that have that certification.
Really?
We're the only one doing 5 nines reliability. And then on ease of use, ease of use is an ongoing thing. Last year we talked about the addition of Pronto for making content sharing ease of use. So that's kind of stayed the same from StarLeaf's point of view. We're still focused on the enterprise in those 3 key ways. So this year, the products we're announcing one of them is a new endpoint targeted specifically at meeting rooms. It's a touch panel that sits on the desk, and that's all. So the touch panel is the codec. So the touch panel has a single connector, goes into a breakout box that connects the TV, the camera, and the network, and it can be installed in a matter of minutes. You sit on the desk, you plug the 3 cables in, and that's it. There's no secondary box, it's just the touch panel, and you're done. And so we call it the StarLeaf Huddle, and it's super simple, and it's designed to try and get enterprises who've got a large number of rooms, and they want something that's not just inexpensive, because the price you pay to buy the unit is important, but then what about installation and what about management? Those are 2 costs that are hidden from the initial purchase. So they've got to be able to install it themselves, just someone from their staff or some basic installer to plug it in. If you need to get a professional company, then installation is going to cost more than the kit. And then the ongoing costs, if it's connected to the cloud, software upgrades are automatic, and all the configuration is managed for you, then it's got almost no cost of management. So it's simple to set up, it's simple to manage, and is it simple to use? I take it it's addressing that. It is simple to use
piece as well.
Right, and that comes to the second part, the second product we're announcing, which brings the ease of use to that huddle room. Because one of the arguments against putting a dedicated piece of hardware into a meeting room is users need to use the meeting room to connect to lots of different kinds of services, not just StarLeaf. Maybe they want to connect to Zoom or BlueJeans or WebEx or Skype for Business or Teams. And so the second product we're announcing is called MultiJoin. And the idea there is when you walk into a meeting room with your laptop, the meeting room is not scheduled. You've been invited to a meeting, but you had no idea what meeting room you were going to use. You walk in, you take your Pronto cable, you plug it into the laptop, And the Pronto cable reads your calendar, finds whatever meetings you've been invited to at that time, and puts a big green button on the touch panel. Pushing that button puts you into the meeting. And so the StarLeaf Cloud does all the complicated bit of working out how to join a WebEx meeting or a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting. You just press one button.
So you've really made it that easy. I mean, because that's quite difficult to just digest, that you could just walk in, plug in, and then virtually connect to any other video service. Because that's been a real big boundary for a lot of years, hasn't it?
It is. And, call us old-fashioned, but we've taken the approach of using a wire. Now, I know the modern trend is everything should be wireless, but that when you walk into a meeting room, if you're going to use a wireless mechanism to connect into the meeting room, then you have to have some sort of pairing mechanism, either reading something off the screen, and then you have to type it into something on the laptop, and that's just a level of complexity that's sometimes too much for users. Whereas there's a cable here which is connected to the meeting room, and so you plug this cable into your laptop, and that makes the connection with your laptop in the meeting room. So although it's old-fashioned, it's foolproof.
Interesting, yeah. It's almost we're calling USB old-fashioned, but it has been the simplest way of connecting to a device for a lot of years, hasn't it? And people know how to use it. It's native, so I'm totally with you there. Great. So that's really interesting. So you're breaking down that kind of interoperability challenge that we've had for a long, long time. And that will be on show next week, will it, as well? Yeah,
they'll both be on show next week. And so do you see, they're kind of connected there. Like putting a piece of dedicated hardware in your meeting room. People's concern might be, well, then I'm limited what I can do with it. Well, no, we're going to use the second product to allow it to connect to anything, not just to StarLeaf. So they're kind of meshed together. It's kind of a neat pair of products.
Yeah, I like that. And I take it as you go forward, because it's cloud and cloud managed, you can release updates if there are any other new services or interrupts required. That's just going to continue to evolve itself, is it?
That's right. There is actually some smaller service providers, like some of our channel partners, actually run some infrastructure of their own. They've bought some older infrastructure from other companies, and they've hosted it in their own data center, and they're running a small service for their local customers. So we could, adapt to support those as well if we wanted to, with very little work. We could, as long as it's standard space, 323 or SIP or Skype for Business, we can connect in.
Got it. So that's an interesting angle too. Tell us about the third one. That's StarLeaf for Teams, I hear.
StarLeaf for Teams, that's right. So Microsoft Teams, next week we're going to be bombarded with it. It's on TV. Huge percentage of large enterprises have taken up a Teams strategy for various parts of their business. Some for messaging, some for video, and some for collaboration. And it's got some pros and cons. Not my place to judge it. But what I do notice is lots of our customers are using it. So our StarLeaf for Teams has got two components to it. One is to make it easy to schedule a StarLeaf meeting from within Teams. So the idea is we're in a Teams channel, a Teams group, a Teams team, I suppose. And there's one StarLeaf button which creates a StarLeaf meeting, notifies everyone about it. And then, of course, as soon as you've done that, it's in your calendar. So you can join it from your desk, or you can walk into a meeting room, plug in and join it from the desktop, from the meeting room system. So that is using Teams as a way to schedule StarLeaf meetings for your team, for your group. So integrated in there to Teams.
So that's interesting that they've got their own meetings platform.
Yep.
But you're integrating with their meetings platform.
Correct.
So the target audience, would that be for existing StarLeaf customers, or would it be for net new as well?
Net new as well, because Teams does a lot of different things, and not everyone wants to use Teams for all of those functions. So there's some people who want to use it as a collaboration tool, but they don't want to use it for their video meetings. Okay. And there could be various reasons for that. Maybe they have other meeting services and products they want to interoperate with, which is difficult with Teams. But by using StarLeaf in the meeting room, they can do the meeting room, they can invite people who are external, they can invite their legacy Cisco and Polycom equipment. So by using StarLeaf for their meetings, it gives them more flexibility than if they just use Teams for their meetings.
We're seeing this much more, aren't we? A lot of interops happening now, but everyone seems to have their own niche or speciality or good reason to use that platform. But everyone's starting to, collaboration companies are almost starting to collaborate a little bit more.
I think we have to. I mean, and don't get me wrong, we have customers who have decided they're going all in with Teams, and they don't care about the interoperability or having something good in their meeting rooms. They can put PCs in the meeting rooms, and that's their choice because the way they work, that's what makes sense. But there's others who just need to be more flexible.
Yeah.
And then so the other part of this, of our Teams story, so that is the story where they're using Teams and they want to use StarLeaf for their meetings and their meeting rooms. But even a company like that may have groups within them. And this is the other thing about companies. Very rarely is the whole company on the same platform. There may well be pockets that have different needs, work groups, teams, departments that have specific needs who may be doing something different. And so we can imagine companies who've chosen StarLeaf as their primary meetings platform, their primary platform for the meeting rooms, but there's still groups who just insist on, what they need is Teams meetings. So now we've also support interoperability from our meeting rooms into a Teams meeting. So that's both ways round. So from Teams, you can jump into a StarLeaf meeting, and from a StarLeaf meeting room, you can jump into a Teams meeting.
Fantastic. So it's that flexibility that users ultimately need, isn't it?
That's right. I mean, we're here to bring everything together and make it easy for the users.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fantastic. So all on show next week at ISE. So if you're watching this and it's this week, I apologise, but it's upon us another year in Amsterdam, the last year in Amsterdam, to be fair. So are you? I know. What are you expecting? Anything particular at ISE this year? Do you think there's going to be some big parties? Will it be the biggest ever, or what do you think? Maybe
it'll be the final hurrah for Amsterdam. I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting a bit nervous, Rob, because I'm sure you're about to ask me to tell everyone what our booth number is, what the stand we're on is in Amsterdam, and I have no idea.
It's okay. You begin with F, the letter S. I think. Just look on the A to Z.
AJ, where it says S, look for StarLeaf, and that'll be us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about it.
Yeah, it's a good show, isn't it? And well worth a visit if you can get there, even if it's just for a day. It's a huge place, isn't it? But as long as it stays a little bit drier than last year, it'll be a great event. Because I remember, I think everyone was running for the brolly stand and trying to buy umbrellas and that kind of thing last year. It was absolutely wet as. So
yeah, it was wet and cold, if I remember.
Yes, it was indeed. But I'm hoping it'll be a good final showdown in Amsterdam this year. So thank you very much for taking some time out today to tell me about your new products and your perception of the marketplace. It's been great to catch up, and I look forward to seeing you in the physical world at ISE next week.
It will be a pleasure, and thank you for having me, Rob. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Will.